Okay, so good morning and welcome to our demonstration on how to prune tomatoes, which is our objective today. One of the reasons why we prune tomatoes is to make sure that the growth in our greenhouse, where we do our crossings, does not get too crazy. We want to make sure that it doesn't turn into a jungle, that we've removed all the disease components of the plant, and we just want to make sure that everything kind of stays in a way that will best produce good hybrids in our greenhouse. So today we're going to do our demonstration, and everybody gets a little handout. This is just to help you remember what all the plant parts are, some of the things to remember as far as pruning goes. I'm going to refer to certain things, and I wanted to make sure you understood what they were. So one of the first things to understand is that the main part of the stem of the plant is this one that's running straight up, and it'll go right up to your growing tip right here. All these little ones that form in these axils, which is, axil is the place where the leaf meets the stem. So in this axil, you'll see that there is a little branch that's popping out of there. We're going to call that, its name is a sucker. So our objective is to remove all these suckers just to make sure that all the energy goes into producing a healthy plant. Now, when the plants are this small, we don't really need pruners and scissors and things, but if you did, if the plant was larger, you might want to use them. Today we're just going to use our hands, and just to make sure that everything is nice and sterile, I'll offer you gloves, or if you don't want to use gloves, we also have alcohol, which is always a good thing when you walk into the greenhouse, just to make sure you alcohol your hands. So I'm going to have you all just do that real quick and get your hands nice and sterile. So that in case you had something outside that you touched, chances are if you put alcohol on it, it won't carry it in and infect the entire greenhouse. Okay. Now, before you actually do this on your plants, I'm just going to show you how it's done. And it's really very simple. All you need to do is find your little sucker in that axle where I noted before, and just pinch it out. If you have nails, it's really easy. If you don't have nails, even just bending it will pop it right out. So you're going to take all of those little suckers all the way down and all the way up. Now, when you get up to the top, what we do in our greenhouse is to leave that one extra sucker up there. And the reason for that is so that if something happens and it injures the growing tip, we have something else to fall back on. So I'm going to leave this really long sucker, so that'll be my backup, but I'm going to take out this little tiny sucker that's right here. Okay? Does everybody understand? And before you do your own, hang on. The other thing I want you to keep in mind is anything that has disease leaves on it, we want to take those out as well. So this one, whether this has got an actual disease or whether it's just from being in the pot too long, rubbing against the sides, whatever the reason, it definitely does not look like a healthy leaf. And I want everybody to check that out. You can see a big difference between a healthy leaf and a disease and a leaf that's not so healthy. And it's important when you're pruning, even if you don't understand what the diseases are, to know what the difference between a healthy and an unhealthy leaf. Because we want to go in there then, if it doesn't look right, to figure out if there's a pest that's in there, or if there's a disease we need to spray with. And so it's important to keep an eye on for these kinds of things as well whenever you're pruning. So those are the two things I want you to keep in mind as you're pruning. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? Okay, and I do want to just mention though that if you're pruning and you have diseased leaves all the way up, or the leaves that don't look great all the way up here, we don't want to go too far up because we still leave some leaves so that the plant can do its photosynthesis thing. So just generally it's the leaves lower than your first flower cluster, which is really hard to do on these plants because they're so young. They don't have a first flower cluster. So we're not going to take any disease. Oh, awesome. We're not going to take any leaves too far up, just the ones down on the bottom. And a good rule of thumb is the ones that touch the edge of the pot, about that. That's a good place to think. That's where you're going to stop it. Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll let you remove your suckers.
How much disease do you recommend? Is that enough, or leave this one?
Well, I would leave that one. The other ones look a lot worse, so yeah, I'd take those out. But this one, the rest of the leaf is still nice and green, and I think it'll be fine.
Could we just take out this
disease
just the disease
only?
part of it.
Yeah.
You can try that. But remember, if you're actually in the process of working in the breeding bench, you could take that off and make sure you mention to somebody or bring the leaf to one of the staff people so that they can examine it and make sure that it's just a physiological thing and not a disease or something that's coming out.
What do we do with the debris?
Generally, we'll want to put them into another container or just put them off to the side so that we can throw them out just in case they do have any diseases. We don't want them to carry over the rest of the breeding.
Another question. In this case, do I leave the strongest sucker and pick up?
Well, in this case, there's
There's
a couple more.
one.
So I would take this one out and leave this one because as long as you leave at least one sucker as a backup, then we're good.
So is this one here strong enough that I can remove the big one?
You can, or you can leave the big one and move the smaller one. As long as you leave one as a backup toward the top, you're good.
Is that okay?
Okay, let me ask you. Do you think that you've gotten them all?
Yeah. I think so.
You did, very good. And you did a good job at keeping the cut close to the axial. I didn't mention that before, but it's nice not to have that extra little piece because that can always get things like fungus and stuff like that. And how about you? Here's yours.
I don't know if that's just a little thing. Yeah, we can take that
I
off.
think that will eventually become a sucker though, so you probably do want to take that off. All right, you guys did a great job. This is a great preparation for our next demo, which will be how to do crossing in the greenhouse. So thank you so much for today, and thanks for joining us.